Live hot takes episode 5. As Austin tells us in blind optimism that the Eagles are still going to win the Super Bowl, uh, and Jason tells us in blind pessimism that the Eagles are going to lose every game until the end of time. And then I'm somewhere in the middle between those two.
Yeah, it feels like that. It does. It's been
Uh,
a tough week.
The Eagles are
tough,
going to win the
tough
Super
week.
Bowl with some Slumdog Millionaire shit.
Yeah, I don't think so.
They'll sneak into the
Racism?
playoffs, and every starting quarterback will get hurt.
Nice.
Yeah,
Well, after the other night, they're gonna need something along those lines. So, Jason, you want to start off? I know Jason was he had fire coming out of his fucking ears the other night. So,
I think that they look awful. I think they look the worst I've seen since 2012. And if you break down all the tapes and everything, you find that Bradford's been accurate. But they're giving him that. They're giving him all the underneath stuff because they know he can't expose defenses right now. And when he does, he tosses 5 interceptions in the end zone. I think that teams are game planning to give up the short routes, the short accurate routes for Bradford because they know the Eagles offense eventually stalls out if it's going too fast or whatever it is, and they'll get the ball back. And I think that they're letting the Eagles kind of spin their wheels, and they're not really worried about jumping routes and playing tight or whatever they need to do. They're just playing kind of contain until the Eagles tire themselves out and punt. And I hate watching it because they can go and then a whole half and not do anything, and then they come back in the third quarter and it looks like a different team. That's a sign of a bad team.
I when I watch them, it's like I don't know if it's Bradford or if it's the wide receivers because they're both so bad. Which is the real reason? But it's just the entire passing game in general.
I think it's
Both
definitely
teams
more
have
the
been pretty
receivers.
solid the last few weeks.
I think it's more the receivers than Bradford, but I
I think
don't
it
think
is
Bradford's
too.
good enough by any stretch of the imagination to continue being the quarterback following game 16, 17 of the season, week 17, I guess. And that's it.
yeah, no, I don't know. I mean, after watching the other day, I think that there has been a lot of panic once again. Okay, the original panic from Eagles fans at the beginning of the season was very legitimate. They were 0-2. They lost, the second game in horrible fashion. They looked pretty terrible on offense in the same fashion that they did the other night. But their defense also gave up a touchdown to Brandon Weeden. Then they come back. They beat the Jets. They lose to the Redskins. And so after the Redskins lost, after the Cowboys lost, I think there can be some legitimate concern. After losing to a good Panthers team on the road and competing until the fourth quarter, I think that it is a little bit of overreaction. I think it's a little bit of being worried about specific parts of the Eagles of their game planning and of the actual execution of the game plan. But realistically, I thought Bradford had his best game of the season. I said that while we were watching it. I was like, I thought if Huff catches that pass in the end zone, if the Ertz ball's thrown a little bit better, we're talking about a completely different game.
If Matthews gets that foot down,
Yeah, there was so much. I mean, even the fact is that Matthews getting the foot down. That there was so much, that shouldn't be on Sam Bradford from the other night's game. But to say that is ignoring what else he has done this year. Which is in the Giants game he looked terrible. In most of the other games outside of the Redskins and I guess post first quarter of the Saints game, he has not looked good. I mean, it's been
That's how we lost.
insane
We lost the
inconsistency.
same way we've done in every game. That's the problem. I know this was a good, we competed. Short week, Monday night on the road, or Sunday night on the road against an undefeated team with a really stout defense. But we looked exactly the same. We looked just like we did against the Cowboys, just like we did against the Falcons, just like we did against the Jets in the second half, just like we did against the Giants on offense. It's the same stuff. That's why I'm like, I don't care who the opponent is. We play the same every week.
No, I disagree only because I think that what you're saying is that they look the same, but there have been some differences, not necessarily in the game planning, but in Bradford's ability to come back and actually make throws, it seems like when he was getting behind in those other games, he wasn't able to really bounce back. And also, there is a running game there. You can say that the offense is a complete catastrophe, but they actually did run the ball the other night. Ryan Matthews has almost 100 yards. Murray had, at least in the first half, looked really. They weren't really able to run the ball as much because they were coming from behind. But if they can get that balanced offense, I don't think it's as bad as the Cowboys game. I don't think it's as bad as these other games that we've seen. And really, once again, we're talking about it again. It's about execution.
Yeah, and play calling and
play calling has been horrible.
Horrible, absolutely horrible. Like, there's going to be a lot of people that don't want to rip Chip for the swing passes and for the wide receiver screens, but they've been brutal all year.
They've been horrible.
Horrible and poorly timed. Like, if the tempo's rolling and you got guys going vertical the whole time, we're getting chunk yardage, we're getting yards after contact for the running backs, and you want to spread it out really quick and then dart upfield, that makes sense. But on 39, when they're bringing the house and you got two of the most athletic linebackers in the NFL, nobody's fooled by that. No one.
And if you watch the good teams, like the Patriots, when they run a swing pass, it's because they've been throwing like these crossing routes to Edelman and these plays to Gronk, where linebackers have to back off a little bit.
Yes.
Linebackers looking for these swing passes first, so by the time the ball's in Murray's hand and Bradford stares him down, the linebacker's already in the backfield.
Yep. And he locks on. Bradford locks on as a running back, too. Like, he never looks back across the field and scans just to see. And he's got guys wide open all the time. That's the problem. Always on that inside slant. They just run up. Usually it's Miles Austin, unfortunately, but inside.
Well, Miles Austin and Jordan Matthews both drop the inside slants anyway, so what does it even matter?
Yeah, that's true. The drop passes are. Is Jordan Matthews. Is it a case of like the dropsies, or is he super overrated from last year?
Well, they said his hand is hurt, and that would make a lot of sense.
That's such bullshit. It comes out now. For weeks, everyone's like, he's got to be hurt, and everyone's like, no. He hasn't been on the injury report. He's practiced every single day.
It reminds me of the Andrew Luck thing, where it's like, why does Andrew Luck look like shit through 2 games? And then, he has this injury where he's hurt, and then he comes back and he still looks like shit.
I know. I was about to say, I was like, he still doesn't look good. I know, I have him on fantasy.
Well, yeah, I mean,
I'll take him.
I don't know enough about the Jordan Matthews situation, but I don't understand why I understand that guys have breakout years in their second years, but did he really show enough to be like, oh, okay, this is the guy? I don't think he did. I mean, he had moments of brilliance.
Enough to show that he could contribute.
Yeah, but he's your number 1 wide receiver now. Is that a guy you want contributing, or is that a guy you want leading the team?
But he's doing neither. That's the problem. Like, if he was dropping some passes but contributing, he was getting open, he was making chunky yardage, yards after the catch, scoring touchdowns, any of those things, I can be like, we may have misread Jordan Matthews a little bit, but he's a good player. Right now, he's like the worst wide receiver in the NFL. Probably the worst running back, too, but she was graded on that. But he's graded as the second worst wide receiver according to the idiots at Pro Football Focus right now.
Yeah, I love Pro Football Focus ratings. They don't matter until they back up one of your points.
They're
the worst I've ever seen. Oh, but they said that Jordan Matthews is really bad, and I say he's really bad. So
yeah, but I would never quote Pro Football Focus for that, because I could just be like, "Have you ever used your eyes and watched the Eagles play this year?"
True, but you can also. So, for example, but I think what the goal of organizations like Pro Football Focus is not to look at the game and say, okay, Aaron Rodgers threw 4 touchdowns, he must have had the best game ever. It's to say, how did he get those touchdowns? Tannehill was a perfect example of this the other day. We watched it. We were watching Red Zone.
Yeah.
And he throws a little slant route to Rashard Matthews 5 yards down the field. Rashard Matthews runs for 55 yards at a touchdown. If you look at the stats, you go, well, Tannehill's having an amazing game, but all of these plays are yards after the catch. Either way, the Eagles could use some of that. And I know, once again, I said we're using Pro Football Focus here, but they graded that was Bradford's best game. They said he was the 3rd best quarterback in the league this week.
And I thought he played very well. I
What's that?
really did.
I think that he played scared, and I think he played efficiently.
Would you play scared behind that offensive line without Jason Peters?
Yeah, I mean, yeah, I'm not a pro.
I didn't think he played scared that game though. I thought he was moving around well in the pocket. I thought he was standing tough and making his throws. I just think some of the play calls made it look that way because he's doing dump offs real fast. I think Chip's going, go hit the guy running out in the flat. I don't know if it's Bradford or Chip.
I don't blame anyone for that because I think of it like this. You look at a game like the Giants game and you see him going up against the worst secondary in football, and he throws 3 interceptions on bad passes. If you're Chip Kelly and you say, okay, now you have to go up against Josh Norman, who has been the best cornerback in football this year, he was game planning to be like, I don't trust Sam Bradford enough, and that's where the issue is.
Well,
Chip doesn't
point.
trust him.
That's why
But the running backs can run other routes besides his little out routes. We have DeMarco Murray and Darren Sproles are both very good running backs in terms of route running. And if you get them on the linebackers, they have good linebackers, but they're still not good enough to cover Sproles or Murray if they're running in the field, not just running backwards.
Well,
yeah.
maybe Murray right now because he's pretty slow, but yeah, definitely not Sproles. You know,
I would say outside of the one drop the other night, Ertz was a bright spot in the receiving game at least.
If your expectations for Ertz were to be L.J. Smith, then he has been fantastic at it.
That's exactly what I said. I said we keep hearing about how Zach Ertz is, this guy, and he might just not be that. But at the same time, this is the most productive he has been the past few weeks. It's been the most productive he has been. I mean, he's not a good blocker, but if you want a receiving tight end, he's been serviceable. And they need to continue to work him in, especially if Nelson Aguilar's out, because they really need some options. You think when he comes back,
he's a big X factor. He was the best. He was the second best route runner in the NFL draft outside of Cooper. And we need to see that now because we don't have any other receivers who are good route runners. Riley Cooper is a laughable route runner. Josh Huff can't run routes. Ertz can't run routes. Ertz and Matthews are kind of like good point-of-the-catch guys. And Matthews isn't doing that this year. But we need Aguilar to make some room and get open.
Well, you heard today it came out that he's probably not going to be healthy for a while.
Aguilar?
Mm-hmm.
I hadn't heard that.
Not back for Dallas. So.
Well, that's not good.
No, it certainly is not.
All right, so.
Here's what I feel like at this point, I am less than encouraged about the state of the offense and the offensive potential of the Philadelphia Eagles moving forward.
I think that's fair. I think it's fair. And once again, I feel like if the woes that were on this team from the beginning of the season were the offensive line, the running game, those things have been fixed. Everything that we have seen can be fixed. Once again, it's about execution. So, Jason, what did you want to talk about next? I can't remember.
Well, I just wanted to point out really quick that the defense has been really good this year. They let me down a little bit against Carolina in the running game, but it's been a pleasant surprise, and I hear a lot of people every week really bitching about Byron Maxwell. And
I don't get that at all.
He's been fantastic so far. I'm not saying he's not going to give a big play. He is, because he's a high-risk, high-reward type of cornerback. He's going to grab you. He's going to throw you onto the ground. He's going to bite on certain things, and he may give up a play here and there. But overall, he's been really good. He's allowed Jenkins and Walter Thurman to play more natural safety role because he's been so good. So it's actually really helped a lot. I would say.
And also on the other side, Carroll's playing well too. Both of the corners are playing pretty strong.
Yeah, it's true. I don't know why.
Yeah, I mean, I don't think that the other night, like you said, with the running game was obviously disappointing, but Carolina doesn't have a high average when it comes to you like coming into the game. You're like, oh, they have the number 1 rushing offense in football or whatever. Then I looked at the stats and I was like, but compared to a lot of other teams, they just run the ball constantly because they're trying to wear down the defense. That's what their game plan is. They keep the game tight to the fourth quarter, then they pull away. It's exactly what we saw. It's what they've been doing all season, and Carolina is on some crazy hot streak. I mean, last year into this year for the regular season speaking, I mean, they haven't lost a game in I think it's like they've won like 13 straight or 14
hockey,
straight.
they have a very high PDO. They're not winning games with overall talent. They're not taking it to their competition.
No, I don't think they are, but also, if you look at their roster, they're getting the most out of their roster.
True.
You know, they're really good at a few positions. They have no wide receivers. They're essentially and I compared this to the Eagles in the mid 2000s. Solid defense. Cam Newton makes his coach look better, like Donovan McNabb made Andy Reid look better. The running game is good enough. Even I'm talking like almost pre-Westbrook. And then they have no receiving options, and they have a solid offensive line. So.
I would agree. I would agree with that. So I wanted to add this every week. Wow. Could have been really bad, you guys. I grabbed just 2 tweets off of some of the reactions and everything that people had. And so I don't have a specific number that I want to hit every week, but if I see it and it makes sense for the show, I just want to bring it on. This one was from Jeff McClain. This one is actually today. Sam Bradford's passer rating on intermediate throws, so 10 to 19 yards, his passer rating is at 48. The NFL average among quarterbacks is 100.2. Only Andrew Luck has been worse, and we know whatever's going on with Andrew Luck is, that's his own deal, and I don't really care. But that means Sam Bradford has been horrible on what I consider to be drive-moving throws. When he misses those, they kill drives. Those are the most important throws, 10 to 19 yards downfield. You're not going to get the 30-yard throws downfield. And the underneath stuff, you better hit it anyway. So
the thing with that is pass rating also doesn't take account of the drops. So really, I can't just say it's Bradford. It's just the passing game in general, whether it's play calling, receivers, or Bradford. It's just the entire passing game's a mess right now.
And also, if you think about it, that makes sense because passer rating is highly affected by not only completion percentage, but it's highly affected by interceptions. So if you think about every time that Bradford has thrown an interception, it's almost always in that range. It seems like it, right?
Yeah. And some of those interceptions came off of Jordan Matthews' hands as well.
What's that?
Some of those interceptions came right off of Jordan Matthews' hands as well. So again, it's an entire passing game unit, which is just
a fucking spy. Is Jordan Matthews a fucking spy for the Dallas Cowboys? I don't even understand what it is anymore. Stop dropping the ball. The other tweet was from Noah Becker, and that was yesterday. And it says, it's obscured by the other inadequacies, but the Eagles are 7 games in to the season and are still starting every single game terribly. And that is a really big coaching issue because the first 10 to 15 plays are scripted every single game. And it feels like we don't know. We get to the line and we go, we didn't practice for this. We end up going 3 and out constantly. We can't run the ball efficiently the beginning part of the game, and we can't throw it at all. I don't know what that is, but it's got to be.
Yeah, when was the last time they scored? I mean, they haven't all season on their opening drive, right?
No.
And Jimmy Kempski had a really good point. And when he said when it comes to Chip, he calls his plays based on what the defense is giving him in the pre-snap reads. So the defensive coordinators know if they line up this way, they're going to call this, or if they line up this way, they'll call that. And Chip Kelly, what you should do is get the ball in your playmaker's hands and make the defense adjust to you.
Yeah. To start taking it to the competition.
Yeah.
This is why I like Chip.
He's overthinking. He's trying to outsmart himself, and it's frustrating as hell.
I know, and that's the thing. Chip is smarter than them, and he has the ability to push the defenses. It's kind of like when you hang somebody over a cliff and you have your foot on the throat. Chip has the ability to do that to defenses, and I want to see it because that is the most fun I have ever had, was watching him thrash the Chicago Bears, who needed a win, and the Philadelphia Eagles just exploded on them. That was the best game to me because that was Chip Kelly in a nutshell. Doesn't matter what you do, we're going to blow you out type of offense.
All they have to do is just play Ryan Matthews more, dude.
Yeah, that's a huge issue. That is, at this point, it is literally just negligence.
And Darren Sproles, get a linebacker on him and let him do his thing.
Yep. So, all right, here we go. Mid-year grades. Austin, what do you give him?
Offense, A-.
Offense?
I mean defense, A-.
I was like, wait, what?
Offense, A+.
Austin was literally just about to fucking stop being an Eagles fan 5 minutes ago because of the offense, and now he's like, A-. I mean, that's
defense,
fair.
A-. Offense, I'll say a D+.
I knew you were going to say D+. You can't give a complete failure, and you can't give 100% positive.
Go ahead.
Because, I mean, Um, the offensive line's improved. The running game's improved. I can't say that the offense is a complete failure, but overall it's been really bad.
Yes. What about you, Jason?
I was gonna sort of answer this based off of what our expectations were, and so if I would grade them on a blank slate, I'd probably end up somewhere near Austin. But if I'm going to grade them as a team, as a whole, and what we thought they could be, and what we were excited for, I give them an F
I was
completely.
gonna say he's gonna say F. I could have
They
told
haven't
you
they
that.
haven't met any of our expectations. Now, if I'm breaking it down, I think I would give the defense an A. Just they've been perfect so far.
They might be the best defense in the NFC, which
But
it makes the offense so much more frustrating.
for as good as the defense has been, the offense has actually been worse than the defense has been good, and that is what scares me. So I think overall, the Eagles, they win and lose as a team, and so I'm going to judge them on a team and what I thought they were going to be and what I expect out of the talent and coaching staff and everybody on the franchise. I got to give them an F. They haven't come anywhere close to meeting expectations. If they were 5-2 or something like that, and they haven't looked good. Well, they got some wins there, but they're not winning. They're losing these games, and they haven't beat anybody good. They beat the Jets, but they were missing Decker and Ivory. We kind of got really lucky there. That's their signature win. So
I'll also add in, since I did the offense and defense, even though this kind of goes along with the offense, I guess I'll give Chip a D- as well.
yeah, he gets that.
Just making sure that I make note of that.
Yep.
Yeah, I would probably I think I'd give the defense an A. I don't think that anyone expected them to be quite this good, and also have the depth that they've had the secondary play they've had. I think it almost, outside of probably the first half against Atlanta, and then if really it goes from the beginning of the season until the second half of this past game, has there really been any disappointments from the defense at all? You can't expect them to be perfect all the time. They've kept them in every game, as poor as the offense has played. And then with the offense, I'm probably going to say, oh, and by the way, I think Carolina might, I know they haven't really played any great offenses yet, but they are so, and I know they are, the only reason that I am not saying this with 100% being certain is because Kirk Coleman is starting on their defense, but their defense has looked like incredible. Their defensive line was short and what's his name? Can't forget his name.
What is it?
Doesn't matter.
Yeah.
But anyway, they have good players on there, and then they have Davis and Kuechly, and then you got Josh Norman's been the best corner so far this year. He has 2 pick sixes already. He's been basically a shutdown corner. Saved the touchdown for them the other night. I think that they've been the at least the most consistent defense so far this year. So I'm going to say Eagles might be second or third. The Cardinals' defense has played pretty well. And then the offense, I don't know. I guess like a D+, C-. Like you said, I think that as the running game has improved, the offenses look better. But yeah, just not getting enough out of the play calling, not getting enough out of Sam Bradford so far. And the wide receivers, obviously. So.
Before we jump off the Eagles, predictions, we're 3-4 right now going into the bye week. Where do you see us at the end of the year, realistically?
I'll say 9-7 division win. And even though right now we don't have a ton to look at, the defense is the best unit of any unit in the division. The Cowboys are in the garbage right now. Their quarterback situation's horrible. Romo's not back for a few more weeks. They still have a really tough schedule. I don't see how the Cowboys can come back. I don't think the Giants are any good, and the Redskins I don't think are any good either. So I think the Eagles are going to win the division by default and get smoked in the first round of the playoffs.
Yeah.
I think the Eagles will probably go 8-8 and just miss the playoffs. I think that the Giants are not good at all, like we've said all year, but their schedule is just so easy, and I feel like they're just going to string together a few wins. They're a game up on both teams right now. I don't know. They just beat the Cowboys, got their second division win. They're 2-2 in the division. Once again, I don't think they're good, but I think that the Giants win the division. The Eagles finish in second at 8-8. And I think that's really just a product of the fact that the Eagles have a tougher schedule moving forward, and also just inconsistencies. And until we can see something that's, if they win a game that isn't a must-win game, like every game they've won this year is must-win. Can we just get a win where the Eagles win a game that they don't 100% have to win to keep their season alive? That would make, obviously the Cowboys game's a must-win. Where is there going to be a game where it's like, they don't need to win it, but if they won, it would be a statement type thing. So still haven't gotten that. But
I took a look at their schedule. Come back. Let's say they beat Dallas.
Wait, Jason, can I predict you're going to say 3-13?
No, they're going to win one more. They'll be 4-12. If we're being realistic.
Let's say they beat the Dallas Cowboys when they come out to the bye. I have to think they're going to put on a better showing. They like playing in Dallas. They like the spotlight. The defense has been playing ferocious. They're not going to have Romo. It could be good. But who knows, though, what's going to look like on offense. I don't think they match up great with Miami. And then, you have the Patriots on deck and everything. I don't think they're looking at anything much more than 8-8. And I think
they have Tampa too, and they have the Lions. They still play the Redskins. There are a lot of cupcake games too.
After the Patriots, I think they split the next two. They end up being 5-6. And I mean, realistically, they go Bills, Redskins. Who else is on that schedule? Giants to end the year. I don't see this team winning out and getting to 10 wins. I really, truly don't. I'm thinking they probably win 3 games out of the 4. They probably lose to the Redskins, honestly, because they seem to have our number. And I think the division winner, honestly, I think the Giants are one of the worst teams in the NFL. I think they should be picking top 5. I think that every part of their team is bad. I think they have bad players. Jonathan Hankins is their best player, and they have Odell Beckham Jr., who's a really good wide receiver. Other than that, I wouldn't take any of their players. I wouldn't take any of their coaches. I think they're overrated. I think the Eagles exposed them. I don't think they'll win. I think the Redskins.
You wouldn't take Reuben Randall?
I wouldn't.
Did you say you think the Redskins are going to win the division?
I think the Redskins are. I mean, it depends.
Can you just yell at me for that like a week ago?
I did.
Yeah. But then we got to see the Giants and for what they really are, which is what we've always known them to be, which is huge frauds. They win only when they get lucky. That's kind of what they do. I'm looking at it as process of elimination. The Cowboys can't win with Matt Castle. Okay. The Eagles can't win because we're cursed. Okay. The Giants are fucking awful. Okay. And that leaves one really horrible team that for some reason won't go away. They're like a gnat. It's like when you kill a bunch of spiders in your house and you're like, I got to take care of the gnats now. But they're the gnat. All the spiders are dead. So I at this point I'd have to give it to the Redskins. And
one consistent thing is all 3 of us right now are like, well, I guess. None of us feel strong about any teams because all the teams.
No one feels strong. How could you? No team. Like
all the teams look laughable right now.
I texted Cowboys you guys the other day, and I said the Redskins have no good wins, the Giants have no good wins, the Cowboys have no good wins, and the Eagles beat the Jets without Ivory and Decker. That's what the division is right now.
Yeah,
so, I mean,
can
the Eagles win by default? Yes. Can the Giants win by default? Yes. Can the Redskins win by default? Maybe. I mean, I don't know.
I think the Cowboys are done, though. If you look at how many games before they get Romo back and their schedule afterwards, I just don't see how they can pull out the division.
Yeah, if they lose to Seattle, that's it. I mean, you don't go.
And I think that's karma for signing Greg Hardy, and I absolutely love that.
Hey, do you remember the stat the last 2 years about teams that have played Seattle in Seattle? What happens to them the following week? It's like a 90% chance they lose the following week.
Isn't Dallas home this week, though?
Always get up. The Cowboys went into Seattle last year or the year before, almost beat them, and then they got crushed the next week.
They did beat them. Last year they beat them in Seattle, and I know because they eliminated me from the suicide pool.
Yeah. Well, that's the thing. I think that the Dallas Cowboys are going to be coming off a really difficult assignment where it is – I don't know if they're playing in Seattle or not.
It's in Dallas. I double-checked.
You did? Okay, it's in Dallas. That's fucked up. So they get fucking back-to-back big home games.
It's just – I'm sorry. Can I talk about how hilarious this is that Jason is super pessimistic about the Eagles and he just picked the Redskins to win the division? That's how bad it's gotten. That the Redskins are –
How horrible is this? But anyway, all right. So we want to do our listicle And it's been a fun show. I'm glad we got to spit some fire today. Porter, feel free to jump in with yours. I know you don't really care that much about this.
Yeah, I don't. I'll sit this one out. I'll just laugh at your guys.
Austin, I'll let you go first unless you really want me to go first. But our list today is the top 5 worst fan bases in the United States. And these are facts. So when I say these, I don't want people at home to get confused. When I say this, it's a fact, and you're not allowed to add us or give your opinion because it's wrong. So everything we say on the show is 100% accurate moving forward. So, Austin, why don't you take it away?
Accurate.
Number 5, I went back and forth. My honorable mention, since I always need one, is LA because they kill people like once a week. And yet they didn't make the top 5. They kill somebody once a week, but they still didn't get into the top 5 because New York fans are so bad. They're my number 5. New York fans pretend that they're Mets fans when the Mets are good, and they pretend they're Yankee fans when the Yankees are good.
True.
New York fans are just total frauds. They act like they have it so bad when New York has won so many championships.
Yep.
My number 4. Who was my number 4?
You gotta write these down, Austin.
I know. Was it Pittsburgh? No, Pittsburgh's higher than number 4, I think.
Better be.
Washington's number 4. Because Washington fans defend that name. It's really embarrassing that they still defend that name and act like it's not racist. Jon Stewart did a bit on it a couple years ago. It was hilarious because they all came in dressed like Native Americans. And then the real Native Americans came in and they were all like,
Yeah.
that was really funny. They did that natitude thing. It was really embarrassing.
Oh,
I have Washington at number 4.
Okay.
Number 3 was Pittsburgh. They have a rapist quarterback. They say he's not a rapist because he wasn't convicted when he raped 2 people. Their fans are just slobs.
Oh.
They say things like Sixburg. They didn't know they had a baseball team until like 2 years ago.
For hockey.
They didn't know they had a hockey team until Crosby was drafted.
Yep.
Pittsburgh fans are just miserable. They wave towels that are soaked in their own piss. It's just
All the towels are
disgusting.
white. Did you know that? All the towels are white. When they get to the stadium and they're peeing at the tailgates, that's what they pee on. They wave them around. And it's literally like all the drippy urine is getting thrown into people's eyes and stuff. The whole place.
Or you know.
That's why it's called Pittsburgh.
It's true.
My number 2, Boston fans. They have an incredible inferiority complex. They're all like 5'4" racist Irish guys. A couple years ago, the Bruins had to apologize on their behalf because PK Subban scored a goal, and they all tweeted the N-word, and there were like 6 million N-word tweets at PK Subban.
Oh
Yeah,
my
really.
God.
Yep. The Bruins were like, please don't do this anymore. Thank you.
They're like, this is really embarrassing for our organization. Please stop being super racist.
Wait, just think about this for a second. A guy who just happens to have a different skin pigment. That's all it is. That's the only difference. That's it. That's the only difference between him. There's no differences at all between people, but the Boston fans can't grasp it at all.
And the funniest part is that PK Subban's brother's in the Bruins organization.
Yep. He's a goalie.
So they'll all be cheering him then. That only black people they like in Boston are on the Celtics.
Their favorite black person is Tom Brady.
If you tweet anything about Deflategate, they come into your mentions because they're searching it all the time. And they're like, you and your tinfoil hats. Like, chill out. You care about this way too much.
Yep.
But then my number 1 is Dallas fans. And it's because Dallas Cowboy fans have 2 types of fans. They're people in Dallas, and they live in Texas. So that makes them horrible people.
Yeah.
They always talk about how back in the 60s, Philly fans booed Santa Claus. Do you know what else happened in the 60s? Dallas fans killed Kennedy.
They
Fuck
shot
Dallas
him.
fans.
They shot him to death.
A few weeks ago, Dallas fans arrested a 12-year-old boy for bringing a clock to school because he's Arabic.
It's true.
And then the other type of Dallas fans are also Yankee fans, and whenever team LeBron's on, they wear a heap, and now they're Cat fans again.
Yep.
Usually, they don't have a hockey team. There's no hockey team for that.
No, it's probably Pittsburgh at this point, honestly.
If there is one,
Yeah.
it's probably Pittsburgh.
Yep.
But they're also Duke fans.
Ugh.
They're either Ohio State or Alabama fans.
Yep. Yep.
But so the 2 types are people who live in Texas and the bandwagon fans. And they usually live in Philly, and they call into our radio stations all the time because they're obsessed with us. It's
so weird
bizarre.
to do that. What a waste of time. Why are you listening to our radio? Just don't microwave your face instead. Use your time.
I would never tune into another team's station because I'd be like, why am I doing this? This is so boring.
Yeah, I know.
But they're obsessed with us. It's so weird. And then once the Cowboys are bad like they are this year, you don't hear from them ever again, and it's beautiful.
It's so great. It is so great.
So those are my 5 worst.
All right. I'll start with my honorable mention. I did some specific teams, some cities, because some cities are just globbed together, and obviously we know where I'm going with that. So my honorable mention is Redskins fans, and they are not only racist, but they're proud of it, and thinking it as like they're the victims. It's because somebody was like, you should probably change your name because it's super offensive, and they're acting like adult babies. Like every single one of them should be wearing diapers when they have to give their arguments of why they should keep the name the Redskins. That you should have to watch them put their diaper on and wear nothing else, and then you can explain why you want to keep it like this.
On Twitter, they used to send me these articles of these fake things when Snyder would set up reports and ask people these biased reports saying it's not racist. Like, it's not like a report. It's some people are offended by it, so that makes it offensive.
Yeah.
It's common sense.
Racism's not like, hey, I asked this one guy and he said it wasn't racist. Racism's not definable. If a group of people are offended because you're mocking their race, it's racism. The end. It's really not a hard concept. I'll be happy to teach it to Dan Snyder myself. So they're honorable mention. Number 5, Ohio State fans. Ohio State, Austin, you probably don't have a lot of experience with them, but they are the Cowboys fans, really, of college football. And they're disgusting. And they're super racist. And they're unfriendly. And they're unkept. And they're disgusting. And when they, I went to a Penn State, Ohio football game, not Ohio State, a few years ago. And Ohio State fans came just so they could talk trash to Penn State fans, which is at a lunatic level of trolling, I think. It's disgusting. Honestly, they don't ever have to deal with defeat or failure, and I think they just deserve it so much. They deserve it in the worst way. They get every bounce. Do you know that Ohio State did not get one penalty called on them last year?
I saw that tweet. That's bizarre.
And their fans are like, the Big Ten's out to get us.
No, it was one holding penalty.
What?
The one holding penalty.
Did you say holding?
Any holding penalties last year?
Yeah, it was holding penalties in Big Ten games, right?
Well, yeah, but their outside games were like, Louisiana, Lafayette. And
yeah, no, they did. They had like 2 against Cincinnati. I mean, it's still ridiculous, but
they had 3 all year.
Yeah.
3 all year. So I hate them a lot, and I think that they deserve a few losses in a row here. Number 4, New Jersey Devils fans. I happen to live in North Jersey. They are they're ugly. Like, they're really, really ugly people, and they don't go to the games, and like they don't even claim to go to the games. They know they suck, but when they go, it looks like your bus driver when you were like in middle school, like kind of got in like some type of kissing competition with a hacksaw. It's disgusting. Like it should be outlawed, honestly. I don't know why they put their arena in Newark where nobody wants to go. But Devils fans are terrible, and I hate seeing them. Number 3 is Notre Dame. Overrated every single year. This is probably a more accurate representation of Cowboys fans. Notre Dame, overrated every single year. Loud and obnoxious. They travel in packs like they're wolves of some type of and they're always wearing their blue jersey. It could be a Tuesday and like there's a pack of Notre Dame fans just walking down the street like, what are you doing? Why are you so proud of this? Your team has 4 losses.
They're actually probably closer to Boston fans because they're all short little Irish guys too.
Right? They're like Notre Dame fans are like from Georgia, and they still for some reason feel like they live in Boston. I don't get it. It's a weird thing. But they're overrated. Their coach is a huge Mayo boy. He is whiny and a huge asshole. I hope he loses every single game for the rest of his life. I hate Brian Kelly. Number 2 is all of New York. New York fans are, as the city is many times, way too proud of their mediocrity and then cry and whine like they're the most successful teams in the entire country. Like, they deserve the Knicks. So badly do they deserve the Knicks. I'm so happy that they have them because it is owed 10 times over for their fluke Giants championships and all those Rangers runs in the 90s. They deserve the Knicks right now. It's great, actually. And being so close to New York, I can't help but laugh every time one of their teams blows it in a big game. And number one, without a doubt, is Pittsburgh fans. And it is not, subjected to just the Penguins. I think that Steelers fans are the worst human beings that you can ever meet, ever. It's like you took the deep south and instead of deep frying them, you microwaved them. And that is what Pittsburgh is. It's absolutely repulsive, those people, and their bandwagon fans. Do you know the Penguins are having trouble selling seats this year? They can't give away tickets this year. It's like 6 games into the season.
They have 2 of like the 5 best players in the NHL.
Let's swap. How about that? I'll go watch Crosby. They are undeserving of success. They should have lost 2 of 3 of their sports teams. I was so happy when the Pirates lost. I don't care if they're a good story. Their fans are garbage. Human garbage.
You can smell Pittsburgh fans from Philly. That's how they just reek.
It's terrible. It's terrible. And I had to go to Penn State with a lot of them. They are, Philadelphia fans get a bad rap. They are aggressive. They are stupid. They are racist. They smell like pee. I mean, it is really, truly an impressive array of disgustingness that Pittsburgh brings. Also, they are stupid. They don't know anything about their sports teams. Nothing at all. I asked them my go-to question when I was at Penn State. Remember, I was, in college. There wasn't Twitter to educate me like all the kids now have, But I would ask them, who was the captain before Crosby? And dude just blank stares, no idea. And from that day forward, I hope nothing but the worst for the city of Pittsburgh, for the people of Pittsburgh, for their fans, for their families. I don't care. I just want the worst for all of that in Western Pennsylvania. So that's my list.
Pittsburgh's a great city if you like bridges and French fries on sandwiches.
Yeah, right? It's so weird. I don't understand it, but they have to throw French fries and coleslaw on every single thing that they touch. I don't know. Like their doorknobs are just showered in coleslaw. It's disgusting. But anyway, that's my list. Porter, do you have any fan bases that you hate that you would want to add?
Not really. I just don't really care about other sports fans as much as you guys.
No, it's true.
I just hate people. And then I just hate when people like things, and when people in regions that I don't like things, it's even worse.
Yeah, I don't want them to be happy.
I hate Eminem fans. I hate people who love Eminem just because he's white, and they don't realize they only like him because he's white.
He's like me. He raps about real stuff.
All right, well, I guess that wraps it up. I'm fucking tired. I've been falling asleep. All right, well, that's how you know it's a good
Are we doing a bye-week one next week?
Yeah, well,
we'll do a bye-week one.
We'll probably bring some guests on next week.
Yeah, and let's talk about other teams.
Yeah, we'll go Eagle-less next week. We'll talk about the NFL. Maybe we'll bring some other stuff, and we'll bring in some guests. Yeah.